I'm Rachel. Hi. Melissa. I am one of the few souls you collected throughout your journey in life with the somewhat unique privilege of knowing you since the early beginnings of Melissa. In your earliest formative stages, when the idea of marriage was what mommy and daddy did, when the idea of an adult was our babysitters, and when the idea of growing up was going to middle school. I must have met you in a sandbox or at an art easel along with Beth at our preschool at the Y. The three of us formed a close-knit little trio, and we've grown up together in a relationship that feels more like cousins than friends, as you know, with Sherry and William as a sort of aunt and uncle to me all these years. We are fortunate to be able to share many fond childhood memories of your playroom and pool and Wayne, my backyard, Sir Drinky Poos and Suka, at our Shabbat dinners and Passover Seders when Melissa was interested in learning more about her Jewish faith, trips to the park, trips here to Nantucket, messy restaurant dinners with Ethan and Andrew, etc., etc. But even more so, we were very fortunate to be able to have grown up together. The psychologist-philosopher Lawrence Kohlberg described the idea that in our psychological development, we are entirely different people in the different phases of our lives as we grow and change. I can identify 4 phases in your life thus far, 4 different Melissas, all of whom I've been able to get to know very well. The first Melissa was you in childhood. For those of you who didn't know her then, Melissa was always scared of just about everything. When I look back at my childhood memories of Melissa, I remember her being scared. To play at my house and sleep over. My father would have to drive her home in the middle of the night half the time. During horseback riding lessons, Beth or I would have to switch horses with her. And by the way, isn't it ironic that out of all of us, Melissa was the successful equestrian show jumper later on? Which brings me to Melissa number 2. In her early preteen, teenage years. Kim could probably tell you a little bit more about that, but it was when Melissa began to grow into herself and learn to harness her fears and discover the tools available in the world that could help her achieve success. Melissa number 3 was a young adult just before she met Michael. She was confident, ready to work to accomplish anything she wanted, receive what she deserved, and give it 100% to be the best she could be and then more. Be it in school, receiving higher degrees at Cambridge and Harvard, patenting an invention, writing culinary review articles, taking on jobs, and even being a member of her family and a good friend. As Melissa progressed to this stage, I was lucky to have her as my friend. I always admired her determination, her courage and her confidence, her refusal to fail attitude that's gotten her so far. No goal is too great or scary. In fact, if I could name one person I knew who could change the world, it would be Melissa. Somehow she always knows exactly what she wants and knows just how to go to the mattresses, which is from The Godfather. To get exactly what she wants and no less, because the juice is always 100 worth the squeeze when she goes for it. Even in her earliest relationships, which I'm not going to get into right now, she always knew when it was no longer worth fighting for, always maintaining a clear head all the way through, and she would always emerge unscathed, her sense of self completely intact and looking forward to the future. She inspired me always, because growing up alongside of her was like looking into a mirror and knowing that we came from the same nascent place. If my cousin could do it, I could do it too. She was the spearheader, the prow of the ship on which our little trio forged through the seas of life. She was fearless, she was capable, she paved the way for us all to be successful as well, offering us guidance through the process, and the confidence and encouragement to take on our greatest challenges to achieve paramount goals. And then ironically, I found that our roles had now actually completely shifted. Now whenever I am faced with an obstacle that seems too great, whenever I have to make a major decision in my life, be it about a career or love life, whenever I am scared, I turn to Melissa and she always has the solution without fail. And now here we are in beautiful Nantucket celebrating the marriage of Melissa number 4, the adult who's just married Michael. And by the way, I just want to say, you look so gorgeous. It's unbelievable. They were all
Your
worth
mom's
it.
hand.
I'm like crying over
Right
how
here, I'm
gorgeous
right here with
this
your
is.
mom.
Anyway, back to where I was. So, now you're able to just marry Michael. And before I get into this further, let me take a step back to when Melissa first met Michael. I remember her telling me about this guy she met at a party at her house. And literally within the first week, he was whisking her away to all sorts of family events, doing romantic activities that I thought people wouldn't be doing until they were together for like at least a year. And to be honest, I thought this guy sounded like a bit of a weirdo. I wasn't the only one. I asked her if she enjoyed this method of being swept off her feet, because to me it seemed he was a little all up in her grill. But when I saw the sparkle in her eye, when she recalled the time she had spent with him, I realized immediately that there was something very different about this one. And I know everyone's been saying this all weekend, but I honestly knew that he was the one and that we would be here today within the first week. She assured me that all of his romancing was actually really great for her. She was really into Michael, and there was no questioning Melissa and the choice she was making at that point. And I could always rely on Melissa, her clear-headed intuition about herself. She knew exactly what she was doing. I really just couldn't wait to meet Michael. I assumed that he'd be at least somewhat similar to her exes, so I prepared myself to be enthusiastic since she was really into this guy, although if he was anything like the others, I wasn't sure how I'd feel about him. But when I finally did meet him and get to know him, I was really, really pleasantly surprised. I really liked him. He wasn't an exact fabrication of what Melissa could have written and picked down on paper when she was 10 years old to describe what her perfect mate would have been. He was way better than that, actually. All the deeper, more fundamental aspects of Michael's personality fit perfectly into the puzzle pieces of Melissa's inner self, and I mean that honestly. I don't think anyone in the world could complement her any better. Not only that, but Michael fit in perfectly and naturally to our little family. And even his siblings, Yummy and Evan, and now Tara, are people I truly enjoy spending time with. You know you can be happy for your best friend when she's marrying someone you yourself enjoy hanging out with. We always wondered who in our trio would be married first, and it's only appropriate that Melissa, the pioneer in our group, tackled this new challenge first and paved the way for us. As her relationship with Michael grew, so did Melissa, and she developed into her new, current self, an adult, ready to start her own family. Melissa seems now a slightly different person who has been somewhat mellowed out by Michael's complimentary personality, and happier and more settled than I've ever seen her before, knowing that no matter what happens in the future, she'll always have what she needs the most, Michael, her new family. But most importantly, she is still herself, the Melissa I've always known, comfortable in Michael's arms and not at all scared to begin her life with him. I remember early memories in Nantucket visiting Melissa's family, so it's only appropriate that we be here for the start of Melissa's new family with Michael. And even better, I'm so honored to have been able to be up there with her at the start of this new life, after being with her at the beginning of life as we have known it thus far during childhood. So I'd like to raise my glass.
Finally!
I'm so proud to call them my best friend since forever, and my new best friend for the next forever. I love you, and I can't wait for the next phase of our lives to begin.
Thank you, Rachel and Kim, our best friend.